Hello, so we are here with Perry Hewitt, VP of Marketing for Crimson Hexagon at South by Southwest in Austin. And Perry, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
Thank you, and it's 80-degree Austin today.
I know, it's absolutely, it's beautiful out here, isn't it? Gorgeous.
Perfect.
Yeah, not too shabby. So Perry, can you tell us what Crimson Hexagon is and what you guys do?
Sure. Crimson Hexagon has brand and opinion monitoring software that serves as a listening platform for large companies looking to understand how their brands are performing online. So in a world in which data is ubiquitous and information is free, we believe there's a lot of value in helping companies distill meaning from all the ongoing conversation in social web.
Okay, very cool. And so obviously a big part of South by Southwest, the interactive portion, is about social media, social content, people creating content, reviews, talking about companies, and brands have a hard time kind of sifting through all that. So, how do you help companies kind of navigate that, and what are some of the tools that they can use, including your own? But how do they deal with it?
So I think brands are really struggling now because when the social web first happened, which I think for most people was 2002, 2003, when the participatory web really started to take hold, I think brands started to say, what can we do to figure out how our brand's doing? And the first obvious idea we all had was count mentions. So how many times people say Ford today? How many times people say Motrin or Johnson & Johnson today? And when you start to count those, it becomes meaningful for the first 10 to 15 to give you a flavor of the conversation. But what happens is the number of mentions begins to exceed what a human or set of humans can process. So distilling mentions into meaning becomes more valuable for brands who are looking to say, how are we doing online? And aside from brand mentions, which is sort of one lens that big companies are looking at it, I think companies are really looking at the web for the next big area for market research to distill and understand consumer opinion. I think it was someone from Unilever who said traditional market research is going to be on life support by 2012. And I think the challenge there is that people doing focus groups, online surveys, are finding that those tools, while important, are becoming less efficacious and want to begin to tap into the huge amount of consumer opinion which is existing online today.
Definitely, and I think one of the interesting things about how the web has evolved is when you have tools such as Facebook, such as Twitter, status updates, blogging, anyone can publish anything, is that popular opinion can become known really fast.
Right.
Either a really positive experience can spread like wildfire, or unfortunately the ones that seem to get noticed are the negative ones, and brands have to be able to react really quickly and get out there and start doing either damage control or just re-engaging people that are having an issue.
And not only react, but sort of understand what the ongoing impact of those kinds of interactions is. People often cite Motrin moms, or just yesterday people were complaining about a local barbecue restaurant service not being up to snuff. How much does that really affect the brand over time? I think it's important for brands to be aware and engage and have a presence where they understand what's going on the social web and can contribute and offer their own perspective. But over time, I think it's important to have something that helps you understand, how is this really affecting my brand? Is this really having any impact on sales or revenue at all? Or is it more of a flash in the pan that's worth addressing but not worth dwelling on?
Right, definitely. And I think when brands kind of understand where they're positioned, or not even positioned, when brands understand how people feel about them out online, then they have a better sense of how to go out there and talk about it. If you come out of left field and aren't talking, in a language that the online community probably sees you or thinks of you, then you might be a little off. The message that you're putting out to your community is not ready to be received because they're kind of in a different space. So how do brands? So I'll get to my question. How do brands take the information that you can provide and then turn it into something meaningful for them?
So I think brands do suffer from the fact that in the good old days, or the bad old days, depending on how you look at it, they could go off to their offsite and define their brand attributes and how they were going to talk about themselves. And then that became sort of the message they could deliver to the great unwashed masses of the rest of us. So I think what brands are really looking to do today is to understand not only what people are talking about, but how that opinion is trending, and what are the words they're using, and where are people having those discussions. And when they have that information, they're able to act on it and to overlay that data, which is a piece I think is pretty broken right now. I think people are looking at social analytics in isolation, not in combination with everything else they do. So how do you understand how people are talking about you online and then overlay that on the rest of your important marketing analytics? So how do you have sort of, what are the KPIs of social, I think is the next big question around understanding online conversation.
Okay, very cool. Well, we're at South by Southwest, and Is there anything that you were hoping to get out of it, or that you have, we're on day 4, I think, so that you have gotten out of it, or anything that's really kind of opened your eyes or made you, provided value to you one way or the
I'm
other?
a relatively committed Twitter user, and there are a lot of people that I connect with online on a day-to-day basis, sometimes about social marketing, sometimes about parenting, sometimes about the miserable weather in Boston.
Sure.
And it's been great to connect live with a bunch of the people I chat with online, and I've found people to be receptive, friendly, and fun, especially after midnight at a bar.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Harry, thanks so much for taking time to speak with us, and best of luck to you. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.